Hi, my name's Eric, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk once again about Taylor Swift. Today, she's releasing Fearless Taylor's Version, a re-recording of her 2008 album, plus 6 brand new bonus tracks from the vault. And I'm here to react to those bonus tracks and break down their lyrics. Normally, I would react to the whole album plus the bonus tracks, but I've actually already reacted to the original version of Fearless and analyzed all of the lyrics, so I didn't want to be redundant, so if you'd like to watch that video, it'll be up here in a card. But in preparation for this video, I revisited the original Fearless to get myself back in that sort of old Taylor headspace and to prepare myself to hear these brand new tracks. But before I dive in, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite song from Fearless is. Check the description box for a link to a list of nonprofits you can donate to. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week, and hit the bell icon to be notified when my videos go live. I held off on listening to the tracks that were released ahead of today, so I'm so excited to dive in. The first bonus track is You All Over Me featuring Maren Morris.
Once the last drop of rain has dried off the pavement, shouldn't I find a stain? But I never do. You find graffiti on the walls of all bathroom stalls. You know you can scratch it right off. You can't change where it's been. Reminds me of me. I lived and I learned, had you got burned. No amount of freedom gets you clean. I've still got you all over me.
Oh, that's so clever.
The best and worst day of June was the one that I made you, but I did. So I smile and melted like a child. Held out and held on, God knows, too long and wasted time, lost tears. I've still got you all over me. We're never really meant to be, so I lie and I cry. Still got you all over me.
Wow. That had a really strong hook. I could see this performing super well on country radio. It just felt so warm. I really enjoyed the production. It looks like it was co-produced by Taylor and Aaron Dessner, who did a lot of the production on Evermore, and I really liked the sort of subtle touches that sort of elaborated on typical country production, like the texture of some of the guitars and the little synths at the beginning. It was just very beautiful. So this song is about the way that a person you loved stays with you even after that love is over. So Taylor opens the song by saying, "The last drop of rain has dried off the pavement." On songs like Fearless and even later songs like Sparks Fly, pouring rain represented this intense feeling of love that came over Taylor, so of course if the rain has dried up, that love is gone. And Taylor uses some pretty particular images to describe the way that she feels about this love now that it's over. She describes it as a stain and talks about mud and bathroom graffiti, just images that are dirty or gross. So the title of the song is really clever because you think You All Over Me would be sort of sensual and romantic, but it's really not. Whereas in a lot of other breakup songs, we might have an approach to the lost love that is wistful or nostalgic or even just sad. To Taylor, this love is a blemish. It's something that she'd like to erase. And then on the second verse, Taylor and Maren say, "I melted like a child." Taylor, 13 years ago, is grappling with this knowledge that adult love brings, namely that relationships and feelings are messy, and just because you have broken up doesn't mean it was a clean break. On a more recent song like The One, Taylor has grown to know this feeling intimately, so it's really interesting to go back in time and hear her discovering these things for the first time. Sorry if the camera keeps moving, my foot's asleep and I keep bumping it. Track number 2 is Mr. Perfectly Fine.
Mr. Perfect Face, Mr. Here to Stay, Mr. I've been waiting for you all my life, Mr. Every single day until the end I will be by your side. It takes everything in me just to get up each day, but it's wonderful to see that you're okay.
Super catchy.
Mister never had to see me cry. Well, I thought you might be different than the rest. I guess you're all the same. Well, I've been picking up my heart, he's been picking up her, and I never got past what you put me through. Hello, Mr. Perfectly Fine. How's your heart after breaking mine? Hello, Mr. Casually Cruel. Mr. Everything revolves around you. So dignified in your well-pressed suit, stashing away to your seat. It's the best seat. So far above feeling anything. And someday maybe you'll miss me, but by then you'll be Mr. Too Late. Goodbye, Mr. Perfectly Fine.
Hello, Keychain.
How's your heart after breaking mine? You said you'd never go away.
That was so much fun. Very sunny and bright, but also had a lot of bite to it. I really enjoyed this device of Mr. and all of the different things that he said and that he was, because it really shows how duplicitous he was and how many different identities he took on basically to manipulate her. The situation here is Taylor just got her heart broken, and she's rightfully, I think, a little bit resentful because this guy seems to be pretty much over it while she is still waist high in tears. And so we get these juxtapositions of Taylor against this guy, and he starts seeing someone else, and Taylor says, "I've been picking up my heart." He's been picking her up, and then she also later says, "It takes everything in me just to get up each day, but it's wonderful to see that you're okay," which is actually just so brutal. She also calls him Mr. Casually Cruel, which is the same way that she described her ex later on All Too Well. Of course, that guy was cruel because he was brutally honest, but this guy is cruel because he lied to her. Because he was Mr. Every single day until the end, I will be by your side, so I guess the end just came sooner than she expected. Just sort of an intentional ambiguity built in there. He wasn't agreeing to anything. Of course, this is all just appearances. He has this nicely pressed suit and always looks good and polished and put together, but as we know from Hey Steven, looks can be deceiving. Track 3 is We Were Happy.
We used to walk along the streets when the porch lights were shining bright. Back when we had all night. When we were happy. When it was good, baby. It was good, baby. Talking about your daddy's farm we were gonna buy someday. We used to watch the sun go down on the boats in the water, and goodbye so much harder. 'Cause we were happy. We showed 'em all up. No one could touch the way we laughed in the dark. Oh, I hate those voices telling me I'm not in love anymore. 'Cause we were happy. And you were gonna marry me. And we were happy. We were happy.
I'm really enjoying this really 2021 production on these songs that were written in 2008. It's just so interesting to hear today's Taylor reinterpreting these songs because there's like these layers of nostalgia, right? Because we have 30-something Taylor looking back on 20-something Taylor or teenager Taylor looking back on a relationship that's ended. So it just builds these layers of emotion that work so well for me. So this is yet another breakup song, and the lesson that young Taylor is learning here is that the higher you feel, the harder you'll fall. Because she's just so happy in this relationship, that'll make the distance between being in love and out of love all the more devastating. There's this really nice moment on the second verse when Taylor says, "We used to watch the sun go down on the boats in the water. That's sort of how I feel right now." This isn't super subtle. Sunsets represent the passing of time and usually the end of something, and here it's pretty unambiguously the end of their love. And so it feels like there are all of these things in the back of Taylor's mind telling her that she needs to end things, which of course she doesn't want to do, which is why she says on the bridge, "I hate those voices telling me I'm not in love anymore." This is her inner voice, her conscience, but she wants to separate herself from it, push it away. So even with all of these images and voices creeping in around Taylor telling her that she needs to end this relationship, she's trying to ignore it all. Bonus track 4 is That's When, featuring Keith Urban.
You said I know when I said I need some time, need some space to think about all of this. And I said, when can I come back? And you said, that's when I wake up in the morning. That's when it's sunny or storming. I let you in, and baby, that's when. I said I know, but you said I did you wrong, made mistakes, and put you through all of this. That's when it's sunny or stormy, laughing, when I'm crying. When you were gone, did you ever think of me? And I said, that's when I woke up in the morning. And that's when you were waiting at the front gate. That's when I saw your face. That's when I love you. That's when.
Oh, that was so good. Keith Urban sounded so great, and he and Taylor just worked so beautifully together, as expected. This is also refreshingly different from a lot of current day radio country, just not a single snap to be heard. So Taylor is trying to get back together with her ex, played here of course by Keith Urban, and it sounds like he's saying that he will be ready to get back together with her when he's over his heartbreak. So maybe this continues from the last song where it sounded like Taylor was getting ready to break things off. On the chorus, Keith says, "That's when I wake up in the morning, when it's sunny or storming, laughing when I'm crying." So we have all these mixed emotions, but I think what's significant here is that he specifically says, "when I wake up in the morning." We know from Mr. Perfectly Fine that when Taylor is really going through it, she struggles to get out of bed in the morning, and I think there's an implication here that her ex is also going through that process, which means, of course, that if he can get out of bed, he has gotten over the heartbreak. So this is yet another song where Taylor isn't really in the power position. She didn't feel like it was entirely in her agency to end this relationship on You All Over Me. She felt like she couldn't fully fall out of love the way that she wanted to. On Mr. Perfectly Fine, she was deceived and lost agency that way, and now she can control whether she gets back together with this person, which of course she can't control someone else's emotions, but again, she's still struggling with this level of power that she has or doesn't have. So again, I'm enjoying these lessons that she's learning and this level of emotional intelligence that she's slowly building up. Track 5 is Don't You.
Hey, I knew I'd run into you somewhere.
That was really pretty.
I heard she's nothing like me, but don't you smile at me and ask me how I've been. I love you still, so why don't you
Oh.
sometimes I really wish that I could hate you, but that's just something I can't do. I swore I wouldn't do this, but don't you say you've missed me if you don't want me again. And you can say we're still friends. I don't wanna pretend. You don't know how much I feel. I love you still, don't you?
I love that one. I think that's actually my favorite so far. So just like You All Over Me, the title of this song is a pun, this time that encapsulates Taylor's conflicting feelings about this now ended relationship. Because she uses the phrase don't you both to mean don't you dare and why don't you? And just like on We Were Happy, we get another few ways that Taylor feels like she's not fully in control of the fate of this relationship and her feelings about it. Like on the first verse, she says, "Hey, I knew I'd run into you somewhere," which again is fate intervening and taking away her control. And later she says that her heart wants to hold on to these feelings. It's not her consciously, it's her heart. Don't blame me, blame this silly little organ of mine. So once again, we have the situation where Taylor is struggling to maintain control not only over her emotions, but also over this entire relationship with someone who has such a strong grip of her heart. And she still explores these types of power imbalances today on songs like Tolerated, which, by the way, is one of my new favorites of hers. Alright, the final bonus track, track number 6, is Bye Bye Baby.
It wasn't just like a movie. The rain didn't soak through my clothes. Lost in the gray, and I try to grab at the fray, 'cause I still love you, but I can't. Bye bye to everything I thought was on my side, and all I have is your sympathy, 'cause you took me home, but you just couldn't keep me. Bye bye, baby. The picture frame is empty, on the dresser vacant just like me. I see you writing on the dash, 'cause I never doubted it. Then the here and the now floods in. Bye bye, baby. Bye bye, baby. There's so much that I can't touch. You're all I want, but it's not enough this time. And all the pages are just slipping through my hands. And bye-bye, baby. I want you back, but it's come down to nothing. Bye-bye, baby.
And that is how Taylor's version of Fearless ends. I really like how the song ties together a lot of different lyrical themes from Fearless. When Taylor opens the song, again we have the rain, but this time it doesn't affect her. The intense feeling of love we had on the title track is gone. She says it wasn't like a movie, which, again, the movies were this source of simple, idealized notions of love that Taylor was trying to outgrow throughout the album. And then she says, "There's nothing to say and I try to grab the fray." I think the use of fray here is a pun because, on the one hand, fray can mean to disintegrate like a rope, so she's trying to hold on to a relationship that is falling apart. And on the other hand, a fray is a fight, so Taylor is trying to fight for this love that's collapsing around her. So with these new bonus tracks from The Vault, Taylor expands the scope of Fearless by introducing these new themes of power and powerlessness, of regret, and really just how complicated love can be, showing us in real time how her mindset was evolving and maturing. Overall, I really enjoyed these new bonus tracks. I can understand why they might have been trimmed from Fearless, but I'm glad that they have now since been released from the vault because they're really, really strong songs. I really appreciate that the style of these songs feels fresh. I love the production on them, and I think that her style of songwriting really actually shines with these new touches that producers like Aaron Dessner add to the songs. I think my favorite of these few tracks was Don't You, but I really enjoyed all of them, and I can't wait to listen to them again. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments down below what music I should react to, and what other topics you'd like to see me cover on my channel. Check the description for that donation link. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are staying safe and healthy, and until next time, that's it.